From the dawn of creation to the rise of monsters beyond imagination, a new legend is about to unfold. This isn't just another chapter, it's the next evolution of solo leveling. So before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because this story, this journey, will push the limits of power, destiny, and what it truly means to rise alone. Welcome to Solo Leveling, Ragnarok. Part 1, let's begin. Since the dawn of time, there existed beings of incomprehensible power, the Absolutes, creators of countless universes in their eternal pursuit of infinity. Their strength knew no bounds, and their thirst for knowledge was insatiable. These beings gave rise to everything: laws, souls, matter, and existence itself. Yet despite all their creations, the vastness of their power, and the infinite possibilities of the cosmos, nothing could quell their deep, persistent boredom. One Absolute in particular turned to a new form of entertainment. He began observing the creatures he had crafted, studying their endless struggles, their battles, and the intricate web of schemes they spun. Every conflict, every skirmish fascinated him. He sought answers within their chaos, answers to questions that had plagued him since the first universe was born. He marveled at the creatures' capacity for destruction, the endless cycle of war, death, and rebirth. To him, this violent spectacle was more than amusement. It was a glimpse into the mysteries of existence. But then something unimaginable happened. During one of these wars, a creation, one of his own, struck down its creator. For the first time, an Absolute had been killed by the very life he had shaped. When the news spread, other Absolutes from dimensions beyond reckoning turned their eyes toward the universe left without its master. The death of an Absolute at the hands of its creation was a sign, an ill omen. It signaled the awakening of a hidden potential within those crafted beings, a power long dormant. However, this revelation did not stir the other Absolutes with concern. Their only thought, the power left behind by the fallen Absolute, was now free for the taking, and whoever claimed it first would wield unimaginable might. Meanwhile, in a world far removed from these cosmic events, a young boy named Suho received unexpected news. He had been accepted into the prestigious Korean National Institute of Arts. For Suho, it felt surreal, an achievement he never thought possible. His friends, upon hearing the news, were equally stunned. Their faces reflected disbelief, struggling to process what he was telling them. None of them could fully accept the truth. Their expressions betrayed a mixture of surprise and skepticism, as if they were grasping at the impossible. Suho's friends couldn't believe it. They all doubted that someone as rough around the edges as him could have passed the entrance exam. One of them even broke down in frustration, insisting Suho should have retaken the exam. But Suho, laughing along with them, shrugged it off. "Well, I'm finally free from this hell," he joked, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. Just then, a voice from behind interrupted the moment. "So you actually passed the exam?" the voice asked with a hint of mockery. Suho turned to see who it was. It was a boy smirking, clearly intending to stir up trouble. "Since when did you get good at drawing?" Kim Song-Cole sneered. Suho's lightheartedness took a turn as the boy's expression soured. "My name's not Kim Song-Cole, it's Leon Cole," he snapped, clearly agitated. However, Suho remained unfazed, pretending he hadn't mixed it up on purpose. He just grinned, playing it off. "Whatever. Anyway, because of you, my plan to get into a good high school was ruined," Leon continued, anger bubbling. Suho, still calm, replied, "Coolly, and thanks to you, I graduated." Their classmates began to notice the rising tension. They knew Leon had a habit of provoking Suho, and it looked like this was going to be another one of those moments. Graduation was just around the corner, yet Leon continued behaving immaturely, clinging to his grudges rather than embracing the responsibility expected at such a critical time. The other students couldn't understand why he still harbored resentment toward Suho, especially after everything Suho had gone through. Suho had endured the loss of his parents and was simply trying to find a path to happiness. Why was Leon picking a fight now? Unable to contain his anger any longer, Leon Call's face twisted with rage as he shouted Suho's name and lunged at him, fist raised, ready to strike. But Suho didn't flinch. He remained completely calm, his body poised as if he had expected the attack all along. The moment Uncall made his move, Suho reacted with lightning speed, delivering a precise counterstrike to his face. Suho glanced down at him, his expression still composed. "Stay quiet until graduation," he said firmly. But Uncall wasn't done. With a flash of defiance in his eyes, his resolve only grew stronger. Though he'd been struck on the face, he refused to give up. The Uncall stood tall, a fierce glint in his eyes as he told Suho. That didn't hurt at all. His hand was enveloped in a strange, glowing energy that Suho had never seen before. An unfamiliar, unsettling power. The mysterious aura pulsed around Uncall as he unleashed a devastating punch, faster and stronger than anything Suho had ever encountered. It was only by sheer reflex that Suho managed to dodge the attack. Fear and shock were written across his face, and the other students stood frozen, stunned by the display of raw strength. Uncall's punch, brimming with energy, wasn't just powerful, it was terrifying. The force sent shockwaves through the room, shattering nearby iron lockers as if they were made of paper. Suho, lying on the floor in a daze, was completely paralyzed by what he had just witnessed. Terror gripped him as Uncall's entire body became shrouded in a brilliant, glowing aura. The energy radiated off him with such intensity that he seemed almost otherworldly, a force capable of destroying anything in his path. The overwhelming power he exuded was something Suho had never imagined. 2 years later, Suho, now a second-year university student, walked down the street deep in thought. That day still haunted him, replaying in his mind over and over. While he tried to focus on his studies, the memory of Uncall's terrifying power often crept into his thoughts, leaving a lasting impression. As Suho strolled through campus, he overheard a conversation between two men. "All classes in the main building have been moved to a neighboring facility. All students should head there," one said. Suho assumed this was due to a gate sweep being conducted by hunters nearby. Glancing around, he noticed security personnel stationed everywhere, instructing people to avoid the danger zone. "How long has it been since the hunters arrived?" a guard asked. "Just over an hour," a staff member replied. "Considering the gate is D rank, they should be finishing up soon." An announcement rang through the area. Only authorized hunters could approach the gate. Suho sighed to himself, realizing yet another gate had appeared. The increased security and restricted access were a stark reminder of how much the world had changed in just 3 short years. 3 years ago, strange, otherworldly gates began opening across the globe, altering humanity's course. These gates led to dangerous realms teeming with monsters, forcing the rise of hunters, individuals trained to combat threats from within. Since then, Suho's life, like the rest of the world, had been reshaped by this new reality. The world as it once was had vanished, replaced by the emergence of mysterious gates. These portals, like doorways to another dimension, opened into dungeons filled with demonic beasts. Left unchecked, these creatures would spill out, wreaking havoc and destruction. But the changes didn't stop with gates alone. Humanity itself began to evolve. Some developed the ability to wield magical energy. These gifted ones were called the Awakened. In this rapidly transforming world, the chaos was brought under control sooner than expected. An awakened man named Wu Jinchul founded the Hunters Association, uniting others like himself to manage the escalating crisis. Society now split into 2 groups: the awakened, wielding supernatural power, and ordinary people, unable to awaken and forced to live in the shadows. For ordinary people, life felt like an endless struggle, ants facing monumental challenges, while the awakened received power as if on a silver platter. The gap between them was undeniable, and the weaker side was acutely aware of its limitations. Suho understood this more than most. No matter how hard an ordinary person tried, they could never compete with even the lowest-ranked hunter. Hunters were humanity's last line of defense. If they failed to close the gates, the world would be wiped out. This led Suho to a sobering realization. While the awakened were essential, ordinary people like him were not. Despite his gratitude toward hunters, a lingering anxiety gnawed at him. Could he ever accept his own lack of power? The unease stemmed from the feeling of helplessness. a vulnerability that haunted him since his parents disappeared. It filled the void left by their absence, leaving him with a sense of insecurity he couldn't shake. He often thought about his mother's words, how he had taken after his father. He wondered, what would his father have done? How would he have handled the loss, the dependency on others, the sense of inadequacy? These questions weighed heavily on him until a voice snapped him back to reality. His teacher had approached, smiling. "You were really focused today," he said. Suho blinked, caught between past and present, before nodding in acknowledgement. The teacher glanced at Suho's drawing, tilting his head with curiosity. "Is it fun drawing like this?" he asked. Suho shrugged. "I didn't really think about it. I just drew whatever came to mind." The teacher chuckled, then leaned closer. "Your aunt is quite imaginative. Wait, it's not just an ant, is it? It's a human ant." Suho stared at the sketch, confused. Why had he drawn such a strange image? It carried a meaning he couldn't grasp. Meanwhile, outside near the gate, staff were preparing to meet returning hunters. One staff member greeted a hunter. "Thank you for your hard work, Hunter Kim Jong-soo." Kim Jong-soo nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "The dungeon's been cleared successfully. We'll report to the association right away. There's something new to report. We encountered a new species of demonic beasts. They looked humanoid, blue flames spewing from their eyes and mouths. Not very strong, low-level monsters. I got hurt a little, but it wasn't serious. No complications." The hunter paused, reflecting. "We've never seen anything like them before, but luckily they don't seem too dangerous." The staff member nodded, suggesting the details go into the official report. But before the conversation could continue, something alarming happened. Blue flames ignited from Kim Jong-soo's arm. He winced, sharp pain spreading through his body. His sword dropped. His hands trembled as if seized by an invisible force. Nearby staff noticed his eyes glowing with the same eerie blue flames. "Are you all right?" a staff member called. No answer came. Without warning, the hunter lunged at him. Consumed by the flames, he was no longer himself. The force enveloping him was unlike anything they had faced. The blue fire consumed the employee in an instant, leaving devastation in its wake. Hunters trailing behind, frozen in disbelief, realized their leader had annihilated a man posing no threat. The flames weren't ordinary. They infected Kim Jong-soo, making him a vessel of destruction, capable of spreading the affliction to anyone he bit. Panic erupted. The crowd near the gate fled in terror. Back in the classroom, the peaceful drawing lesson shattered. The noise grew louder. Students rushed to the windows, anxious to see the disturbance. Suho glanced up, confused by the rising shouts. Outside, people attacked each other in a frenzy, their bodies wreathed in blue flames. Eyes burned with the same unnatural light, filled with demonic energy. It quickly became clear. The dungeon hadn't been fully cleared. Panic spread in the classroom. People shouted for help, calling hunters. Fear mounted. One student turned to Professor Talam. "You've got to do something. You're an awakened too." But the professor shook his head. "I'm only an E-rank hunter. There's nothing I can do against that." At that moment, Suho noticed a hunter engulfed in blue flames, barreling toward the building. "Get away from the windows!" he shouted, cutting through the panic. But it was too late. The hunter crashed through the classroom window with a deafening smash. Glass shards flew everywhere. The possessed hunter attacked indiscriminately. Chaos erupted. Suho spun and bolted for the exit, yelling for others to follow. Amid the chaos, his eyes caught a girl on the floor, crying in pain, unable to escape. Frozen, Suho's mind raced. How could he save her? Fear gripped him, but he knew he couldn't just leave her. "I'll get help! I'll bring the hunters!" he shouted, turning away to fetch assistance. Guilt clawed at him. He was powerless, an ordinary human in a world of monsters. Yet deep down, he remembered his father's words. His father would never have left someone in danger. Determined, Suho turned back, eyes wide with fear. But now, with resolve, he grabbed a fire extinguisher from the hallway and charged the hunter. Blows rained down, knocking it back. He pulled the girl to safety, heart pounding. As Suho steadied his breathing, a sudden notification flashed before his eyes. "You have completed the hidden quest. Courage of the powerless. For a split second, Suho recalled a strange dream. Vivid, almost real, where he fought waves of monsters with powerful gloves, leveling up with every victory. Now it felt more than just a dream. Something greater was unfolding. Amid the chaos, he realized this was his chance. The same system from his dream was offering him power, the ability to protect, to fight back, to become more than an ordinary person. A smile crept onto his face. Without hesitation, Suho accepted the offer. Congratulations, you are now a player. The world shifted in that instant. He felt the surge of potential coursing through him. As a reward for completing his first quest, Suho received a powerful spell from the mage Candiaru, along with a blessing, immunity to illness, poison, and harmful effects, and a long life free from disease. Yet the system warned this was no longer a dream. He had only one life. Curiosity and excitement flooded him as he examined his new stats. The interface mirrored the game from his recurring dreams. The next mission appeared: destroy the mist burns and increase your level. Mist burns, hunters infected by the mysterious blue flames, cursed after failed gate closures. Time resumed its natural flow. The girl he had saved remained frozen, and he urged her to run while she could. Looking around, Suho noticed names and titles floating above the infected hunters. All were now marked as mist burns, targets to eliminate. Most were ordinary people, cursed by the flame, but a few were hunters. Among them, 2 charged at him, eyes glowing with the eerie blue flame. The surviving bystanders fled, but Suho stood calm. He was awakened. Now wielding magic and strength, he was ready. Gripping the fire extinguisher, he swung at the first mistburn. The impact sent it crashing several meters back. Discarding the extinguisher, Suho focused on his fists, channeling all his anger and determination. With a powerful punch, he struck the creature's head. The blow sent it flying through the ceiling. Suho stared in disbelief. The monster that could have killed him moments ago had been obliterated with a single strike. The system confirmed, Mistburn defeated. Before he could rest, another Mistburn lunged at him. Suho dodged effortlessly and countered, finishing it instantly. His mission complete, Suho leveled up. Triumph washed over him. He had gained abilities he'd only dreamed of. Eager to test his limits, he confronted another monster. This time, it absorbed his blow with barely a flinch. Suho realized his next opponent would be far tougher. The monster attacked relentlessly, each strike more powerful than the last. Suho was forced to endure a barrage just to survive. A sharp pain shot through him as the mistburn wounded him. He staggered back, creating distance, catching his breath. The system notification reminded him of the long life ability he had received. His lifeline. The monster lunged again, knocking him to the ground. Its strength was overwhelming. He struggled, barely fending off its fangs. Realization hit. He was still too weak compared to even a deranked demonic beast. He had likely ranked as E, explaining the struggle. Yet he refused to give up. Suho grappled with the monster, blocking its deadly attacks. Every second a battle for survival. A system notification flashed, reward received. Additional skill points granted. A surge of power coursed through him. Renewed, Suho struck with everything he had, breaking free from the monster's grip. He hurled it across the room. The creature quickly regained its footing. Suho had to defeat it fast. Another strike landed. The monster reeled, stunned. He pressed on, pummeling it relentlessly. The creature endured, refusing to fall. Suho realized he hadn't invested all his skill points yet. Without hesitation, he poured everything into increasing his strength. Power surged. Confidence returned. The monster charged again. This time, Suho dodged, countering with a strike that shook the ground. He had never seen an awakened being able to level up like this. Rank didn't matter. Survival did. Fueled by determination, he unleashed a devastating assault. Each punch struck with brutal precision. The monster could only absorb the punishment. After an eternity of blows, he delivered the final strike. Panting, exhausted, he confirmed the monster's defeat. The system chimed, monster defeated, level up. Suho sank to the ground, relieved. His knuckles stained with blood, he clenched his fist. pride swelling within him. He had awakened. No longer powerless, insignificant. This was only the beginning. With newfound strength, Suho knew he could protect others, confront chaos, and face the challenges ahead. Outside, an unknown hunter moved silently through the sea of monsters, dragging a massive sword along the ground. Despite its weight, his movements were smooth and precise. Leaping into the air, the hunter focused on Suho's building. Inside, Suho peered out, trying to understand the chaos. A C-ranked mistburn drew its sword, moving with deadly intent. Suho froze, realizing the creature far surpassed his current level. The attack hit with devastating force, sending debris flying. Dust swirled, blinding him. The city was in turmoil. Announcements echoed, D-rank dungeon break near Korean University. Residents must evacuate immediately. The danger was far greater than anyone anticipated. And just like that, Suho's awakening has begun, from a powerless student to a hunter standing against fate itself. But this is only the beginning. What lies beyond this first battle? What new monsters and secrets wait in the shadows of Ragnarok? Find out in part 2 of this series, coming soon. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What do you think Suho's next challenge will be? Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and keep leveling up.